I was standing on the scale, confusing everyone. I was 160 pounds. I wore size 33 jeans. I looked healthy to the outside world, but my blood work and my ultrasound told a very different story. My liver was enlarged, inflamed, and full of fat. The doctor shrugged and gave me the standard advice. You are probably genetically predisposed to fatty liver. You just need to lose weight. But I didn't have much weight to lose. And if you're watching this, you probably don't either. This is what researchers call lean fatty liver disease, or lean MASLD, metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease. You might also hear it called TOFI, thin outside, fat inside. It's a metabolic paradox. We don't carry much visible, pinchable fat, so there's no outward, obvious warning sign. We fly under the radar until blood work shows liver enzymes rise and imaging tells the truth. Here's the concept that changed everything for me: the personal fat threshold. Imagine your body's ability to safely store fat under the skin as a bathtub. Some people's tubs are the size of an Olympic swimming pool. They can gain a lot of weight before metabolic damage shows up. But people like me, people with lean fatty liver, we were born with the tub the size of a thimble. When we overeat, sometimes by just 10 pounds, that tiny tub overflows immediately. And the overflow doesn't go to the hips or thighs. It spills straight into the living room. In my case, the liver. So how did my tiny tub overflow? I wasn't eating burgers, fries, and milkshakes every meal. I was eating what I thought was healthy. Flavored yogurts, which I later realized were full of added sugar. Fruit smoothies, also full of sugar. Heart-healthy multigrain Cheerios, more sugar. Orange juice, straight sugar in the form of fructose. What I didn't understand is that fructose is metabolized differently. It is largely processed in the liver. By following conventional, healthy advice without understanding my metabolism, I was pointing a fire hose at a bathtub the size of a thimble, and my liver didn't have a chance. And here's the part I didn't understand at the time. The problem wasn't just what I was eating, it was the context I was eating it in. I had become extremely sedentary. Life got busy as I had 2 young kids. By the end of the day, I was exhausted, both physically and mentally. I hit the couch rather than hitting the gym. Stress isn't just emotional background noise. Stress is cortisol, and cortisol raises blood glucose. Stress literally has a hand on the bathtub faucet. Then there was sleep. Poor sleep reduces insulin sensitivity overnight. So while I was unconscious, the drain was clogging, getting narrower. This inactivity didn't just clog the drain pipe, it also started to rust. A sedentary lifestyle is what happens when the drain isn't maintained. And yes, from being tired and stressed, I started to eat more ice cream while sitting on the couch. The ice cream added more water to the tub. Here's the truth. I wasn't reaching for it because I lacked discipline. I was reaching for it because the pressure in the system was already too high. Willpower lives downstream of physiology. With the faucet wide open and the drain neglected, my tub never stood a chance. And now here's where the story comes together. Fructose goes straight to the liver, but most of the carbohydrates we eat become glucose, and glucose always has 2 possible destinations. It can be burned or stored safely in muscle. Or, when muscle capacity is low, it eventually ends up right back in the liver as fat. Muscle is the body's primary sink for glucose, But because I was skinny fat, normal weight, low muscle, and spending most of my day sitting, my drain was tiny. So when I was told to lose weight, it was like trying to bail out a flood with a spoon. But what if I didn't need to bail the water? What if there was something else? What if I just needed to build a bigger drain? So I stopped trying to shrink my body. I started trying to expand my drain. I swapped fruit juice for water and coffee. I increased my protein intake, not to diet harder, but to support muscle. I started walking after meals, not to burn calories, but to give glucose an immediate place to go. Every walk was like cracking the drain open a little wider. And then I started lifting heavy weights, and that's when everything changed. Because muscle doesn't just burn energy, it stores it safely. I didn't lose much weight. I just stopped forcing energy into my liver and gave it somewhere else to live. And this isn't just my experience. The pattern shows up again and again in lean fatty liver research. For people like us, the path forward isn't being smaller. It's being harder to metabolically overwhelm.